The same, you are the same who had TCS exam. Krishna, you had a TCS exam? You appeared, not exam, but interview or something. I guess you were absent in previous 1 or 2 lectures. At least previous lectures, though you were, previous lecture, though you were not there. Okay, you had a TCS exam, right? How was it? Chalo. So once again, good morning to all of you. And let us start today's session. But before that, let us recall. Good. All the best for the future, Krishna. Okay, let us recall the previous lecture. What we discussed in the previous lecture first, if you can recall. We discussed company analysis. We discussed industry analysis, right? And we talked about Porter's 5 forces model and industry life cycle, right? Now today we are going to discuss our next topic into industry. Sir. Yeah, so we discussed industry analysis and now we are going to start with the company analysis today. So we are discussing fundamental analysis, and fundamental is having 3 parts, right? It is called also EIC analysis. So we start with economic analysis, then we discuss industry, and then in the industry particular company's performance. Now when we are talking about the company, then we are talking about the company in the same industry, right? So we can, it is better, I mean, we can do the analysis in the better way. So let us discuss the company analysis. See, many people just think that the fundamental analysis is only company analysis, right? But it is not like that, right? So fundamental analysis is the method of analyzing companies based on factors that affect their intrinsic value, right? So company analysis we will be talking about the intrinsic value, the internal factor which affects the business most, right? So there are 2 types of a method to analyze the company: quantitative method and the qualitative method. Now, as name suggests, quantitative side suggests looking at the factor like numerically, right, which can be measured numerically, like company's assets, liabilities, cash flow, revenue, loss, PE ratio, various other ROE, ROI, ROCE, right? The cash flow, discounted cash flow, assets, liability, current assets, cash on hand, overdraft, right? Raw material, COGS, all this quantitative measure which you can measure in number, which you can see that debt kitna hai, how much is equity, how much revenue we are generating, which you can calculate in the numerical. So that is a quantitative side. But when we talk about the qualitative, right, the qualitative is non-number size, right? It specifically talks about the employee engagement, customer loyalty, right, company's goodwill, right? So those are the such factor: competitive advantage, sales growth. All these factors are such factor which you cannot calculate in number. They are either positive or negative, right? So quantitative analysis is there and the qualitative analysis is there. The limitation of quantitative analysis is that it does not capture the company's aspects of risk immeasurable by a number. Things like the value of executive or the risk a company faces by a legal issue, all these are not there, the part of quantitative analysis, but this is the part of quantitative analysis. So company analysis are into 2 parts. Basically, what is a company analysis? That is studying the fundamental factor which affects company's growth, quantitatively and qualitatively, right? Basically, you wanted to know the intrinsic value of the company, the actual value of the company. This is what you want to know. Then you do the company analysis. The next is company analysis is not as simple as looking at the numbers and computing ratios and looking at the financial statement of the company. It is important to look at influences and qualities that do not have a number value. The present and future values are affected by the following factors. Let us discuss. So here we are talking about the qualitative factor first, right? Qualitative. Share value, these all are the present price, the factor which affects the present price of the share value, and this is the factor which affects the future price value and hence the value of the firm in the future. So more or less here, economic condition will be the part of economic analysis, stock market conditions are the part of industry analysis, PE ratio, historic price of stock, the numerical things, right? But the factor which affects the future price of your business are this. So we are going to understand the 6 factors which affects the future price of company into qualitative measure. So let us discuss one by one. The first is competitive age. What do you understand by competitive age? What is competitive age? What is competitive age? Can you tell me what is a competitive age? EDGE, yeah? Age. What is a competitive? Or core competencies? It is called core competencies as well. What is it? According to you, what is a core competency? Yes, Jilpa?
Main advantage that a company have and others don't have.
Right, the main advantage, the important advantage that the company have and others doesn't have, that means the company has core competencies in that particular factor. Company is the only in the industry that can provide this thing, right? What can be a competitive advantage for a company? Can you give me an example of, or you can explain me what can be a competitive advantage? What can be a competitive advantage? It can be anything which you can do and which you can do and others cannot do. Isn't it a competitive advantage? Yes, is it? Right. So anything which you can do better and others cannot do, it's your competitive advantage over that person. And if you can do something better or something not better, something different than all others can do, that is your competitive advantage. That is your core competencies, right? And you are best at doing this, then it is your core competencies, right? So what can be this kind of a core competency? It can be even economies of the scale. If your business can generate economies of scale in the industry where none of other companies is able to do that, that's your core competency and you should make it strong, right? If suppose you can earn profit in, if you can earn customer loyalty, right? So none of the company in your industry can do that, and if you are able to do that, then that's a great idea, right? Customer loyalty. If your brand is a strongest brand, right? If you have a brand image like anything, then it is your competitive advantage, right? So this is what we are going to understand, the competitive advantage. Okay, so first is competitive advantage or competitive edge. A company's long term success, राइट शॉर्ट टर्म में तो कोई भी बंदा प्रॉफिट करके कुछ करके सक्सेसफुल हो जाएगा, बट इफ यू वांट टू सक्सेस फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, you are, it is the factor, and that is that the ability to maintain a competitive advantage and keep it up, right? You should be able to maintain a competitive advantage and you should keep it up. Powerful competitive advantages such as Coca-Cola brand name and Microsoft domination of the personal computer operating system create a moat around the business, allowing it to keep competitors at bay and enjoying growth and profit. Coca-Cola's brand name, right? Thumbs up, Coca-Cola, right? None other company comes near to that brand, right? Everybody in the local area also must be knowing the Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Thumbs Up. Coca-Cola and Thumbs Up, right? So that's the brand name. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का जो डोमिनेशन है पर्सनल कंप्यूटर के ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम में, राइट? माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ही होता है और एप्पल है, बट द डोमिनेशन ऑफ द माइक्रोसॉफ्ट इनटू पर्सनल कंप्यूटर ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम, दैट इज व्हाट इट क्रिएट्स अ कॉम्पिटिटिव एज एंड इट कीप्स अदर्स coming near. So you have to find the company to invest in such a company which has a competitive advantage. तो एक तो ऐसा होता है जिसका ब्रांड नेम अच्छा हो, जिसका डोमिनेशन है कुछ इंडस्ट्री में, right? When a company can achieve competitive advantage, its shareholder can be well rewarded for decades. But obvious, right? If your company can achieve competitive advantage, it will grow in the future, and but obvious, it will have a more profit in the future, right? So corporate advantages includes, or competitive advantage includes, patent hona, economies of scale hona, you have a different technology than other, it can be anything, right? See, let us see Uber's biggest competitive advantage is its mobile app connecting drivers and riders, right? Starbucks' strongest competitive advantage is what? That it's brand, and it is available every place in the world. So if you are at your place, or you are touring in the other country, or other, even if you are touring into other what do we say, any other place, you will have the same consistent test and the experience, right? So this is what a brand Starbucks could have created. So this is the competitive advantage, right? So you have to identify such a company who have a good competitive advantage, and then you can assure yourself that this company will earn return, a constant return in the future as well, right? The second is earning. uh, Earning of the company should be analyzed. Here we are not talking about the earning in terms of the money, right? उसके numerical term में नहीं देखना है, right? I'm explaining you how you can check it other way. The income of the companies is generated through the operating and non-operating income, right? As you know, we have operating income and non-operating income. If you know, if I don't know whether you have studied financial statement analysis subject anywhere in your the educational career or not, but when you do financial statement analysis, no, there are many a ratio like this where you only consider operating profit, and you do not give even, you cannot even think of the non-operating income, right? So operating income is very important. So any company will generate two income. One is operating income and another is non-operating income. What is the non-operating income? Non-operating income is the income which is generated through other than your business, right? Suppose let us talk about the Marwadi University. So the main earning comes from where? From the students' fee. If the university is earning this fees, or rather than the fee, they are having another income which is more than this operating income, that's not a good sign, right? So if your business, any business, say for example Reliance है, तो Reliance उसके खुद के ऑपरेशन से खुद के मेन सर्विसेज जो प्रोवाइड कर रही है, you should that has to earn more profit from that rather than non-operating profit. So as an investor, you should analyze the source of income properly कि operating income कितना है and non-operating income कितना है. अगर बिजनेस, आपका बिजनेस नॉन ऑपरेटिंग इनकम से चल रहा है, मतलब आपको जो जिस काम के लिए आपने बिजनेस स्टार्ट किया है वो तो साइड में है, उसके अलावा जो काम कर रहे हो उससे आपको ज्यादा इनकम मिल रही है, देन दिस इनकम विल नॉट सर्वाइव फॉर लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, राइट? उस सर्विस, उस इनकम का बेस कहीं और है, आपके पास नहीं है, तो आप उसका जो 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 ऑर्गेनिकल ग्रोथ है, दैट you won't be able to do the organic growth of the profit, organic growth of the company. So you as an investor, you should analyze it properly that where this earning comes from. Operating से कितनी है, non operating से कितने हैं. If it is more from operating, then the company is good, so you should analyze earning as well. Now the capital structure. Again, don't look at how much debt is there and how much equity is there. Let us discuss capital structure in more term. See, as when we were discussing industry analysis, we discussed the sensitivity to operating leverage and financial leverage. The financial leverage wala concept you can apply here. So you please remember this thing. Capital structure is a combination of debt and equity, but obvious, right? It enables the company to maximize its value. Under this, we determine the proportion in which the capital should be raised from the different securities. The capital structure decisions are related with the mutual proportion of the long-term sources of capital. The owned capital includes share capital and borrowed capital includes debentures, bonds and loans. We know this, right? So आपको ये भी देखना है the businesses का capital structure क्या है. Business is making good profit, right? You will say that the company is making earning very good, right? But if it is more, debt is more in its capital structure, right? If the debt is more in the capital structure, अभी कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर में डेट ज़्यादा है और टाइम भी अच्छा है, टाइम अच्छा है मतलब इकोनॉमी इज ग्रोइंग गुड and this company must be earning more profit than its peer company, right? So how you will analyze it, in the worst case scenario क्या चीज हो सकती है? वर्स्ट केस सिनेरियो में इसमें से क्या चेंज हो जाएगा? सबसे पहले टाइम। अभी तो टाइम अच्छा चल रहा है मार्केट का, जब मार्केट बैड सिचुएशन में होगा, जब देयर इज नो वन एल्स, I mean, the market is so bad, your economy is breaking like anything. At that time, that will give you more loss, because here your debt is very committed, right? So even though you are not making profit, you will have to pay this debt, and the company in which you have invested may be bankrupt, right? So only good time में आप देख रहे हो कि अच्छा good time में they are earning good, सिर्फ अर्निंग को देख लिया आपने, वो नहीं देखा कि डेट कैसा है, कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर कैसा है. So if it will be a good time, of course this company will make the more profit, but this company's sensitivity is more, and hence they may not earn good profit in the bad time, right? Let us see next. The next is management, right? If you know, I have heard once this person, Warren Buffett, he says that I don't invest looking at the company, I do invest looking at the person who is running that company, right? So as an army needs a general to lead it to victory, a company relies upon a management to steer it toward financial success. आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि मैनेजमेंट कंपनी का कैसा है, कौन है मैनेजमेंट में. मेनी अ टाइम इट ऑल्सो डिसाइड दैट हाउ योर कंपनी इज गोइंग टू perform, right? Some believe that management is the most important aspect for investing in a company. It makes sense also. Why? Because even the best business model doesn't work if leaders of the company are not able to properly execute it, right? So how you can judge, or how you can consider to manage the management. आप management को कैसे study करोगे? So first you will see its past performance, not company's past performance, but the management's past performance. So before this joining this company, where they were, right? If before joining this company, before 15-20 years, they were in other company and that company make very good profit in their time, that will be the things. आप उसकी biographies भी पढ़ सकते हो, right? And many people keep their biographies or the brief about the top executives on company website, so you can read that also. Identify the companies they worked at in the past and do a search on those companies and their performance, right? Then ownership and insider sales. So just about any large company will compensate executives with a combination of cash, restricted stock and option. So आपको ये भी देखना है कि मैनेजमेंट का स्टेक कितना है बिजनेस में, राइट? इफ यू नो व्हेन द यस बैंक वाज द बैंक हु वाज इन द before this twin tower attack in USA, before that Yes Bank was working very good. Then what happened when there was a twin tower, one of its partner, there were two partners, Rana and Rana. One partner died because of this unfortunate attack on this twin tower. He was there in the twin tower on that day and he died. So another Rana was working taking care of the business. And then the another Rana who died, his wife and the Rana who was alive and working the business, both of them did not have a good rapport and they cannot take business further. And then because of that, share prices started decreasing. And if you see the Yes Bank's balance sheet or Yes Bank's financial statement, in particular 2-3 years, the owners has taken their maximum. ऑनर्स के पास भी शेयर्स रहते हैं, राइट? तो ऑनर्स ने क्या किया, वो शेयर्स को मार्केट में बेच दिए, जितना मिनिमम लिमिट था उतना ही रखा, बाकी के सारे शेयर्स मार्केट में बेच दिए. इफ मैनेजमेंट, एग्जीक्यूटिव्स, द ऑनर, द प्रमोटर ऑफ द कंपनीज का स्टेक कितना है पहले तो बिजनेस में, and if they start selling those stake, we should be careful about this, right? The founder of the company, promoter of the company, executive of the company, if they start selling out their stock, right? Then it is something fishy about it. So you should check that as well. And the MD and A, when you check financial statement analysis, right? कंपनी का किसी भी कंपनी का फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट लेंगे, उसमें MD and A होता है, which is called management discussion and analysis. You as an analyst should must read this discussion, right? This MD and A talks much about the person who is running the business, what he thought, what is his vision, how is going to how he is thinking to grow the business. These all things are included into MD and A part. And the fifth and last is operating efficiency. See, operating efficiency depends on the how the process is being done into the business, right? जितना process आपका controlled, जितना process आपका effective, उतनी ही company ज़्यादा profitable. So corporate governance describes the policy in place within an organization, denoting the relationship and responsibilities between management, directors, and stakeholders. These policies are defined and determined in the company charter and its bylaws along with corporate laws and regulations. This is shown into the statements of the company. This is what they show, right? The purpose of this corporate governance under operating efficiency is to ensure that the proper checks and balances are in place, right? A good corporate governance is a situation in which a company complies with all of its governance policies, all its government regulations, and they operating effectively, right? So if the company is able to operate effectively, then the company can be good. So these were the quantitative factors which we should take care into the industry. The next is financial performance. So the last is the financial performance of the company. That is the quantitative measures we are talking about, right? So if you wanted to check the financial performance of the company, of course, you should check the balance sheet, income statement, and the cash flow statement of the business. Guys, whenever we talk about security analysis, right, generally we think of financial statement analysis first of all. Yes or no, right? We take कि चलो अच्छा मुझे किसी ने company analysis करने को बोला है, I will do financial statement analysis. So I'll get the last 5 years financial statements and I will do study. But if you see in the whole fundamental analysis, the financial performance of company comes the last. You start with the economy, you start with the growth of economy, you start with the inflation, interest rate, the market situation, industry ka competition, industry ki life cycle. Then you come up in the company analysis, then you talk about the non-numerical things like competitive age and etc etc, and then at the last the quantitative measure comes into the picture. So see how we analyzing, we take bottom to top approach, right? First of all we analyze the financial performance और उसको हम 80% वेटेज दे देते हैं और बाकी 20% में बाकी सब चीजें देखते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है. The fundamental is comprised of so many things, right? So if you wanted to know the financial performance of the company, you should check the balance sheet. Balance sheet is the a statement which shows the asset and liability of the owner's equity in a company, right? It is the primary source for any analysis to check whether the company's financial position is strong or not, right? And you can check the book value and market value of the asset, right? So balance sheet is very important. Then comes the P&L account. See, the difference between balance sheet and P&L is P&L will tell you this year's position and balance sheet will tell you जब से business शुरू हुआ उससे अब तक how the business is working, right? So these are the two things we should take care of. P&L है जो income statement है, that expresses the results of financial operation during an accounting year. तो कितना profit किया, कितना revenue generate हुआ, उसमें से what is the portion of COGS cost, how much we had cut, what is the operating profit, what is the tax we paid, what is the interest expense into our income statement. All this thing you can see from the P&L account, right? And the cash flow statement show you the actual cash position into your company, right? So if you are making a profit but that profit is not converted into the cash, it is not a very good sign for any business. So you should always rather than only balance sheet and net profit देखने की बजाय, you should also focus on cash flow. You should, as an analyst, you should know how much cash flow generated through operating activity, how much cash flow generated through financial activity, and how much cash flow you have generated through investment activity. This is the place where you can see that earning wala part, how much is the operating income and how much is the other non-operating income. So you should be, as an analyst, worried about this as well. Right. Now, how much time are we left with? Let me check. I guess we have 10 minutes. We can still continue with this. Right. So techniques of company analysis. Have you heard of techniques of company analysis? Do you know which are the techniques to analyze the company's financial statement? Which are the techniques to analyze company's financial statement? Do you know?
Yes, ma'am. Fundamental one.
No, that is a security analysis, fundamental and technical analysis. Now, I'm talking about financial statement analysis techniques. Have you heard of comparative analysis, common size statement analysis?
Yes, ma'am. Trend analysis.
Trend analysis, ratio analysis, cash flow analysis, and fund flow analysis, right? So these are the analysis of financial statement analysis technique. So let us discuss one by one. These are the 6 financial statement analysis technique. You can do comparative financial statement, you can do trend analysis, you can do common size statement analysis, fund flow statement, cash flow, and ratio. Let us first talk about the comparative and common size statement. Right? You prepare a 2 years comparative, सेम कंपनी का 2 साल का कंपेरेटिव एनालिसिस करोगे और एक में आप कॉमन साइज करोगे. व्हेन यू डू कॉमन साइज एनालिसिस, व्हाट यू डू, यू कन्वर्ट ऑल द फिगर्स इनटू स्टेटमेंट ऑफ अ कंपनी इनटू percentage. So sales or revenue you take as 100%, and then all the other expenses, all the other income, you convert them into percentage of the sales. So you can get a clear idea ki how much marketing expense you have done in compared to your revenue. तो आपके revenue का कितना percentage you are spending on the marketing. How much percentage of your revenue you are spending is the tax. So that you can think of this in the common sense statement. Trend analysis is for a longer period of financial statement analysis. आप 10 साल के figure को लेके, data को लेके जब आप analysis करते हो, तो that shows you a trend, whether the business is overall doing good or going down. Then comes the ratio analysis. It is the part of various ratio. There are 4 types of ratio. Which are those ratios? Which are the ratios? The main 4 types of ratios into ratio analysis. Liquidity ratios, then
Profitability.
the profitability ratio, liquidity ratio, then third, efficiency ratio, right? 4th, operating ratios, and 5, this equity ratios, right? So there are 5 types of ratios. यहाँ पे आपको सिर्फ थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंड ही करना है. वी आर नॉट सपोज टू कैलकुलेट इट, प्रैक्टिकली नहीं करना है, सिर्फ अंडरस्टैंड करना है. ठीक है. सो दिस इज ऑल अबाउट फंडामेंटल एनालिसिस. Now in the next lecture we will talk about the technical analysis. So we are done with the first part of module 3. If you have any doubt you may ask me. एग्जाम में नेक्स्ट वीक, नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे तक हम जो भी पढ़ेंगे वो आएगा. तो नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे तक वी विल हैव 3 lectures. So by 3 lectures we will be able to complete 3 theories of technical analysis: Daw theory, Elliott wave theory, and random walk theory. So you will have this much into the exam. ठीक है. So that will be the part of exam. 3 theories and types of chart. So 4 more topic to cover in the next week. So this will be your midterm 2 syllabus.